in my vision to help me see through the blackness. These days getting worse, see nothing but whackness on this track list that this DJ gets playing. For fuck's sakes, man, what the hell are they saying? Ain't no telling, cause we all funny felons that got bigger melons than what farmers market selling. I'm held in this box, holes in these socks. I'm touching more souls like philosophy talks. What's the dark thought? After dark thought, great sun begins to rise up, a prize of that past try to leave behind. I'm leaving, not just for an evening, more like a weekend that turned into a season. Breathe in the fresh air and cold. Heed this, if we close our eyes, we can float. And growth of the soul is a never-ending recipe. So check it, because knowledge is the greatest form of weapon. Rock, rock on. Late bloomers. Rock on. Close retros. Rock on. Bonnie boy. Rock on. Soul hex. Rock on. Cola boy. Rock on. Serotonin. Rock on. Christian Diego. Rock on. My eyes, they're my primary mode of comprehension. You're fenced in my death trap thanks to my henchmen. Now let me mention that this wasn't my intention. It was your friend's kid said you need an intervention. Sweet but keep us all and the sweet peaches. And hope they get sweetches are able to reach the beaches. Life it teaches many things, so keep it vigilant. Don't act belligerent and shoot the coop like where the pigeon went. Finish with these fake MCs, so don't start me. Enough of this malarkey, I'm trying to find parking. Largely an issue only to the common man. Sticks his feet inside the dirt, don't make it to the promised land. Contraband, never found on my person. Mama be my ass cause I never stop cursing. It's worse when the blows coming from the blind side. Don't be a wise guy when you wash up like a high tide. Rock on. Fire monkey. Rock on. Boofus Brown. Rock on. Moth Moses. Rock on. Android. Rock on. Ryan. Rock on. Mama Doom. Rock on. CDP. Rock on. Mad Live. Rock on. Oh no. Rock on. Wild Child. Rock on. DJ Rose. Rock on. Metaphor. Rock on. Andy Black. Rock on. Lord Cross. Rock on. And the Loop Pack. Rock on. Rock on. Rock on.
Yo, what's up?
Howdy.
It's Sunday, boys.
Hey.
Mike almost forgot to unmute there.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, I'm muted.
The panic in his eyes.
I was like, oh, what's going on?
Oh,
We're here. Happy
My hotkey.
Happy Sunday.
Bing, bing, bong.
Cheers,
yeah.
y'all.
Bing, bing.
Hey,
blow it up in the chat.
yeah, blow it up in the chat really quick. Hey,
Oh.
Jose with the sub.
Jose,
Hey,
Oh!
christened
our
yourself
first
Oh, that-
with the
it
first
works.
subscription. Okay, as I was just about to bring up.
Yeah, give the laydown on the sub.
Yeah, so we are now Twitch affiliates, and if you have an Amazon Prime account, please, you get a free Twitch Prime. It's free, no charge, because you already have an Amazon Prime account. You can subscribe, and it helps us grow. Don't spend your actual money, please don't.
Yeah, if you don't have like a Prime account or something,
Yeah.
don't bother subbing. Like if
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Jose, for the sub. That's awesome. If you have a Twitch Prime, feel free to sub. After we get all the stuff with emotes set out, you have exclusive access to emotes. And we can even put the chat in like sub only mode, and only you get to talk with other subscribers. It's a cool little like gimmick. But we really we appreciate everybody for watching and showing support. And it's cool to see we're now here with our Twitch affiliate status with our sub button. We earn PogChamp. We earn channel points now.
Yeah.
And the more we grow, we'll get more emotes, and that's our whole thing, is building our community. But yeah, super cool. We have our first sub, which is pretty poggers. Shout out Jose. pretty PogChamp. And
website.
also for the first 10 people to subscribe, you get that little founder thing next to your name in chat.
You're an OG if you
An OG.
first 10.
So yeah. Anybody else have anything to say, or should we kick it off?
No, I hope everyone's had a good week.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that is well.
we got some spicy news. I guess we'll let the news do the talking.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that is.
The first thing we have before we get into everything, I was gonna go to this, but I didn't make the time for it, so I didn't end up doing it. But I still thought it would be worth it to bring it up. This was a reading sit-in at the park that Rev Study held today at 1. But I wanted to bring it up because if there's other protests like in our area or in general that you want us to like hear about or that you went to or someone you know went to, like we'd love to have the pictures and stuff because we can't make it out to these things all the time. Like we try sometimes, but
Yeah, we have work and whatnot.
yeah. Well, and like our whole thing is just amplify like, local stories and stuff like that. So it's like if you can give us that, that's just another way for us to do that.
Yeah, and yeah, pictures, videos, yeah, anything.
Anything, yeah. Or just like, yeah, if you just went, you don't have any of that, but maybe you have an account of what happened. That's always worth it. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we can move from that. Check out Rev Study though. They do cool stuff.
I'll go ahead and link their stuff in the chat right now.
Let's move into our first big news, and this is kind of breaking news. We'll pull up. This is a Popular Resistance article. It says nuclear scientist is assassinated inside Iran. New York Times ignores. Yeah, this just happened. New York Times ignores Israeli Trump motive. Goad Tehran, as the capital of Iran, into retaliating. A nuclear scientist was just assassinated inside Iran, probably by Israel, with Trump administration connivance. But so far, the New York Times is distorting the news and ignoring the probable and dangerous Israeli/Trump motivation for the killing. The scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, hope I'm not butchering that, was shot dead in an ambush in northern Iran. The Times report did say that, quote, 3 intelligence officials, unquote, attributed the attack to Israel, but the paper barely explored the connection further. The Times started off its misleading coverage by asserting that Fakhrizadeh was seen as the force behind Iran's nuclear weapons program, unquote. It's from John Gazavan, a respected Iranian-American historian and former journalist. It says, here are the facts. Iran says its nuclear program is peaceful, signed an exacting agreement in 2015 that included rigorous inspection by outside authorities, and was in total compliance until Donald Trump unilaterally pulled the U.S. out in May of 2018. The Times online report continued with its bias. The paper says, quote, the assassination took place amid post-election tensions between Iran and the United States, unquote. This dishonesty would be only laughable if there were no risk of greater tragedy. The Times makes it sound like post-election tensions are just arising out of nowhere for no reason. The truth is, and we've been covering this, like, of course this hasn't just arisen out of nowhere. Israel and the U.S. have been carrying out a violent sabotage campaign inside Iran this year, which has so far included the destruction of power plants, aluminum and chemical factories, a medical clinic, and 7 ships at the port of Bushehr. What's more, the U.S. Navy recently provocatively sent the aircraft carrier Nimitz to the Strait of Hormuz, the first capital ship ordered into the Persian Gulf since last year. We've also covered, the litany of fucking sanctions against Iran too that has pressured them and goaded them this whole time.
Yeah, and we've gone into lengths about that, especially the illegal sanctions on things like medicine, which are actively killing innocent civilians in Iran.
Yes. Yeah, and it's terrorism by our government.
Of course. And as we just talked about a show or two ago, with the new Biden administration looking at people like Mike Morrell, who actively, in detail talked about how, savage he wanted to go into this country and just, terrorize people. Like he
covertly kill people.
That was pretty ridiculous.
and that was
yeah.
like that was overt at that point. But yeah, like literal terror, like literal terrorism, and we excuse it by things like American exceptionalism, which is
A
disgusting.
psychopath.
Yeah, straight up, these people are psychopaths.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is pretty crazy in general because, well, obviously at the beginning of this year, which is crazy to think that was the beginning of this year when Soleimani was assassinated.
Mhm.
It's like, look, this is clearly a step in the same kind of direction where they attack like a major, figure in their government. But yeah, it's just disgusting.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the thing to keep in mind here is within the last week, I want to say maybe a week ago, Pompeo went on like a little business trip, you might say, to Saudi Arabia, Israel, etc. He leaves, like came back like a couple days ago, and then this shit happens. So
Yeah, you can only
can only assume.
tinfoil hat, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. Yeah, regardless of what happened, I mean, even they're saying like, even our intelligence officials are saying, oh, it's probably an Israeli like Mossad kind of thing.
But I
that
mean,
happened.
but give it 10, 20 years when this still might still be happening. We're gonna get the information declassified, and it's gonna come out that Pompeo went out on that fucking mission to go organize this.
Oh, told him to go do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just what a cuck too. Just doing whatever the fuck, Of course, we want to topple Iran too, but Israel's just like, oh, can we go in and just do like this completely nuts thing? Just kill their like top
Just
scientists.
Fucking thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the way I read it actually went down is like he was driving like in a normal fucking freeway in Iran, and then like a bomb blew up on the road, knocked the car off, and then like a bunch of fucking like gunmen popped up, like 6 or 7 guys popped up and shot at the car. Like no one made it. Of course, that's like yeah. So definitely a
And no
coordinated.
matter what, definitely a planned thing as well.
Exactly.
It was
Yeah.
Definitely orchestrated.
This isn't just some random freak accident. Like
Yeah.
he was assassinated.
Yeah, an act of terrorism by us, the biggest terrorists in the world.
The most effective terrorist in the entire world.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Who else? The CIA, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's more of an effective terrorist group.
That's why it's called Law and Order.
Law and Order.
Can we bring up the John Bolton tweet? This was just yesterday. Amid this news, John Bolton, famous neocon goon who has worked for a bunch of administrations, also most recently Trump's, and now he's been rehabbed in like media like CNN, MSNBC is like an anti-Trump guy.
Yeah, once you become an anti-Trumper, the liberals love you.
But look what he says here. He says, Iran's terrorist regime is seeking nuclear weapons for terrorist purposes, which none of that's true. Faced with such a threat, a preemptive strike is fully justified.
Like, what terrorist things can you do with
purposes? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What
against
terrorist things can you do with nukes? Exactly, because once you use a nuke, it's over.
Right.
They're gonna nuke Israel. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like.
Well, the line is, if we want to prevent that, the nuclear deal was the perfect thing for that, and they were complying with it.
Exactly, but also they should either have it. They should have a nuke until we can make sure everybody gets rid of all their nukes.
Well, they should. Yeah, I think it's right for them to pursue one as a deterrent.
No, exactly. They
Sure.
should have it as a deterrent from the United
Well,
States.
let's just say this: we
Yeah.
don't have the right to invade them over them creating them.
Yeah, exactly.
We should work, diplomatically to disarmament with all countries.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of countries have them. We don't invade them over it.
Exactly, because we can't.
Yeah.
They have the protection that is the nuke.
I think I also saw some like other articles regarding this, and they were just totally underplaying what actually happened as well.
Right.
Especially with within the titles. So.
Like the Times one, they just made it really loose, and it's like it's almost like you can't even discern what happened. Where it's like, oh, this is straight up a hit job, is what this was.
Yeah.
And yeah, look at Bolton's language there. It's clear they're they're not afraid to do shit like this. Faced with such a
Definitely not.
threat, a preempt, not a preventive strike, a preemptive strike. They love to use that. But yeah, gross. We can move on from this.
Yeah.
I'm being prosecuted for the crimes I haven't committed yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they want to go beyond preventative.
in good news, in lighter news,
Yeah.
Venezuela judge convicts 6 American oil executives and orders prison. So W in the chat, fuck oil executives. Here from AP in Caracas, Venezuela, 6 American oil executives held for 3 years in Venezuela were found guilty of corruption charges by a judge Thursday and immediately sentenced to prison, dashing hopes of a quick release that would send them home to their families in the United States. Some relatives have been bracing for the disheartening outcome, which came on the evening of Thanksgiving Day. Alirio Rafael Zambrano, brother to 2 of the men, said that they were undeniably innocent and victims of judicial terrorism. No evidence in the case supports a guilty conviction, he said. Obviously, the people they're talking about are the oil executives, who obviously are going to go to any lengths that they can to be like, oh, I didn't do it. When 99.9% chance they 100% did do whatever they're charged with. We, the family, are heartbroken is to be separated even further from our loved ones, Zambrano said in a phone message from New Jersey. We pray that leaders of our nation step forward to continue to fight unceasingly for their freedom and human rights. The human rights of oil executive billionaires who are destroying Venezuela from the inside, of course. But yeah, human rights and freedom, right? Attorney Maria Alejandra Polleo, who helped represent 3 of the men, said the case was void of evidence, of course. The defense will will appeal the decision, she said. The so-called Citigo 6 are employees of Houston-based Citigo Refining Company, which is owned by Venezuela's state oil company, PDVSA. They had been lured to Venezuela 3 years ago for a business meeting and were arrested on corruption charges. Now, I wonder what brought them to Venezuela to talk about oil. I wonder what forces
Right.
led
Houston-based.
Yeah, I wonder why an American company would come to Venezuela for oil around 2017. It's a little weird.
Let's not forget too, like Venezuela has like some of the largest crude oil reserves in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And Texas is like, yeah, they want all that crude oil they can get in those refineries. Of course they're here to. Yeah, I mean, just on the charge of, look at what's the whole presidential crisis the last couple of years where they just have a fake coup president. Of course, the fucking guys like this are the ones that orchestrated that.
Of course, because they want access to that sweet, sweet oil.
Yeah.
Didn't he literally go to a place called, was it George Washington University?
Guaido, or?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
It's something super fun. Psyop. Continuing on really quick. Their arrest launched by a purge by President Nicolas Maduro's government of PDVSA at a time when relations between Caracas and Washington were crumbling as Venezuela plummeted into economic and social crisis. Very obviously due to the U.S.'s sanctions on the country,
right,
and repeated coup attempts.
That's the same as like the Iran one. It's like
exactly they play loose with the. You can't. Yeah,
it's not crumbling. It's one side forcing their cock down the other country's ass. Like
exactly. One, yeah. 5 of the men were sentenced to prison terms of 8 years and 10 months, while one of them received a 13-year sentence. Fuck that guy. Defense attorney Jesus Loreto said the 5 with lesser terms could be released on parole in a couple of years. Venezuela's Supreme Tribunal of Justice announced the verdicts and prison sentences, but offered no other comment on the trial's outcome. One of the men, Tomeu Vadel, has said in the letter written in a Caracas jail and provided exclusively to the Associated Press before the verdict that he had hopes for a fair trial so he could walk free with his name cleared and go home to his family in the United States. Despite his circumstances, Vadel held out hope. During the trial, the truth was proven undeniable, Vadel said in a 4-page handwritten letter. It proves that I am innocent. I am now reaching my an intersection where if justice is done, I'll be able to rebuild my life and try to compensate my family for all the lost moments. He added. The same time, this rich fucking executive of a oil company saying this, Venezuelans are starving because of what the United States has done to them.
Yeah, so feel no sympathy for
Yeah,
these. Fucking,
exactly.
If you think these are like harsh, like convictions or anything,
that guy should serve all 13 years and so many more because of the innocent people that he's killed and what he's done to that country and some of the, him just being an oil executive, the things he's done to the earth that we can never reverse. Fuck him. He should burn.
Yeah, just in the name of profit.
Yeah. And it just goes on to kind of describe what's going on with the case further. We don't really need to go into it, but yeah, hoping that this goes all the way through and these all these guys go and serve terms in a Venezuelan jail, and we can only hope that this doesn't escalate tensions with the United States, especially while Trump still has a couple of months to do some crazy shit, and Biden to an extent too. So yeah, solidarity with the Venezuelan people, and we can only hope that tensions don't heighten to like a hot war or anything.
Right. It's cool to see like there and Bolivia too. Like they're really going after all these fucking people that couped them.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Mm-hmm.
They're really down for the shit. Like it's pretty cool.
And it's not surprising that they would do things like just bullshit things and like just to get profit off of it,
Right. Claim there. I just want to go home and see my family in the state. Of course you do, bitch.
Misleading.
You're looking at a nice investment deal to
Cutting
jail.
corners. That's the the motive.
But do you guys want to move on from that one? Does anyone have any?
Yeah. Let's move on. Fuck oil executives.
Yeah, fuck oil, exactly. And continuing with our solidarity with, the Latin peoples, we haven't heard a lot about the recent natural disasters that have swept through Honduras. And we have a video here from Gray Zone, trusty source we usually use, and we'll just play the first couple minutes. We'll talk for a minute, and then we'll hit our first break here.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Anya Parampil, and this is Redlines. Honduras and its neighbors are reeling in the aftermath of two Category 4 hurricanes which ravaged Central America back to back. To discuss the impact of the storms, Hurricane Eta and Iota, as well as the varying government responses in the region, I'm joined now by Gerardo Torres. He's the International Secretary for the Libre Party in Honduras and a friend of the Gray Zone. Welcome to Redlines, Gerardo.
Hi, Andia. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for the invitation. And it's always a pleasure to be with the Gray Zone.
Well, I'm happy to speak with you, but very worried about the situation in Honduras. Let's begin by discussing the current picture. You've just returned to Tegucigalpa, the capital, after traveling all around the country, trying to collect supplies and deliver aid. What did you see during your travels?
Well, there's a lot of people that have been affected. We're talking about thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Hondurans. There's very little news about what's going on the west, mainly because most of the maquilas, that is like the companies, the factories, and the production infrastructure is in the Sula Valley and the Awan Valley. So all the attention is in the north part and the northwestern part of Honduras. The west part of Honduras, the one that is right near Guatemala and El Salvador in the southwest of Honduras, that is really poor, indigenous, and campesinos, they don't have as much attention by the media. So there's a lot of people that are incommunicated. Congressmen and women of the Libre Party are doing a really huge effort to bring some food and some clothes and some help, because mostly of those communities are incommunicated. So what you have to do is that you have to travel outside Honduras to El Salvador or to Guatemala and then go back, because the roads in Honduras, most are destroyed. bridges, for example, were taken down by the rivers that grew in a really high proportion. So we have many people that lost their houses, but many people, hundreds of thousands of people that are incommunicated communities, complete communities that have no access for food or for any service. We're trying to bring that service from Guatemala and El Salvador back to the mountains in the southwestern part of the territory.
And what has the government, led by President Juan Orlando Hernandez, done to respond to this humanitarian catastrophe?
Well, the thing is that we have to say that Honduras is a profoundly neoliberal country. So we have a government that for the last 11 years after the coup d'etat in 2009 has been reducing completely many of the services and the rights that the government supposedly had to guarantee to the citizens are now under the private company's control. So you have a government that has really low capacity to help people and to react and to act when there's a catastrophe, when there's an urgency and an emergency. And on the other hand, you have also a government that has not the support of the majority of the population, that has lost 2 elections, 2013 and 2017, and that only reason why they stay in power is because they steal those elections. They have the support of the United States Embassy and the SOUTHCOM, that is the Southern Command of the U.S. Army, that is based its headquarters here in Honduras. And the third is because they have a lot of budget put on the military forces, that are the ones that control any uprising or any rebellion from the citizenship. That we have been in the streets for 11 years. We have won 2 elections, but the government, with the support of the United States and with a lot of money to the military forces, stays in power. So you have a government that is really small, that has really small capacity to react, and you have a military force that is mainly budget it's to control the population. So when you have a catastrophe, we have, for example, communities that were 72 hours or even more in the roof of their houses waiting for some support, and you didn't have any support nor from the military or the police forces in Honduras. What people had to do
We can pause it
was
there,
to
Carlos.
rent.
We'll show a little more so that in a second, so that they can see some of the flooding. But I think that really where he kind of ended off there is the key. Like, and what I wanted to take from this is like, now looking with Joe Biden coming in, and he spoke of it in 2009. They had a coup d'etat where their democratically elected leader was overthrown, and of course that was in coordination with the United States. And then at the time, President Barack Obama and his vice president, Joseph Robinette Biden. But it's because of decisions like that to, coup their government and the neoliberalization of their government that disasters like this kill so many.
Yeah, 100%. And you can even bring that to aspects of what's going on here at home. What's up, Leo? Welcome to chat. But you can with things like recently, or the most recent example I can give is the recent change to how unemployment worked with COVID. They started taking that money out of FEMA, and that was right before storm season and hurricane season. And we saw these huge hurricanes hit the East Coast, and yeah, some communities were devastated, and a lot of what really happened didn't get covered.
Yeah, and we're still yet to hit the dead of winter now, and a bunch of people are going to be going homeless. So it's like,
it's something we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, we're going to feel we already have, but we're going to feel more of the effects of natural disasters and them being exacerbated by just our entire system being hollowed out.
Yeah, and this disaster left 150,000 people in Honduras homeless, and many things were lost as well.
And
so it's a very big deal.
He made that point too, where it's like all the people that were they might not be homeless, they might still have a home, but they have no access to food right now, water, The sewage is messed up.
Yeah, the whole infrastructure is just
Yeah.
wrecked.
And yeah, that's definitely, and that was a good point, Ian. That is a way we're headed. So it's a way to think of the coming presidency in two ways, because it's like they affected this here, and it's like, look what they did internationally.
And you can only imagine what they're going to do. Exactly.
Yeah.
And just taking money out of FEMA is one thing, but, you know, you never really know what's going to happen under the Biden administration.
Yeah. Well, probably something like this. I mean, they caused the current Honduras situation, and solidarity to all the people that are organizing in Honduras.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that the like Southern Command, like U.S. Army, was stationed in their capital, which is
Really?
yeah, that's what he said. That's abysmal. Of course, they have all that military power and wealth injected in there from the U.S., but it's just meant to hold people down from actually organizing and
also use that to empower the rich and elite to continue to holler out that country as well.
Right. The fruit companies.
And something that not a lot of people talk about that I learned about not too long ago, actually. A lot of I mean, we already know that most people don't want our bases in their countries, but like in instances like Japan, where we have bases that literally take up like huge swaths of a city or a town, like almost half of the town, etc., etc. Yeah, like you have these military bases that are taking up land that could be used for many other things that could help stimulate that country's economy or the people, but instead it's wasted on a military base by the world's largest superpower to just basically let everybody know that we're watching, and it's
right.
It sucks.
Law and order.
Right. Yeah, because Honduras is a threat to us. We can't forget Honduras might attack Nebraska.
They got intercontinental ballistic missiles. They could launch on Ojai any moment.
And it's so gross too. Once we coup their government, and then we make our oil executives, etc. Further climate change, further natural disasters. They go through these countries, completely destroy them. The people have nothing. They flee, come to the country that did all this to them. And then remember not that long ago when that large caravan of people from Central America, mostly places like Honduras,
and
came in, and what did we do? We shot tear gas at them.
To this day, there's still continued vilification of those people.
Absolutely.
They, a lot of them haven't gotten their rights here. They haven't got the amnesty that is a refugee, because we don't consider them refugees, because we don't consider what we did to their country to be eligible,
deemed.
Exactly. We're directly responsible for why these countries are in the states that they're in, and then when these people flee to come here, we turn their backs on them, and we're racist, we're xenophobic, we vilify them, and it's disgusting. And then
imprison them.
Yeah, we
make them do slave labor, for God's sake.
Mutilate them, sterilize
them. Yeah, we covered that. Yeah, dehumanize and it's just gross. And I wanted to bring that because you don't really hear much about this. Honduras has in recent years been hit by a lot of different hurricanes. In general, Central America / the Caribbean has. And we just have to keep our hearts with them and solidarity with them. Anyone have anything to say? You want to roll into break?
Before we roll into break, everybody who's watching, if you're watching without an account, please create an account and follow. It really helps us. If you have an Amazon Prime account, if you link that to your Twitch, you do have a free Amazon Prime subscription. It helps us out. It helps us look better in the numbers. Twitch will pay a little bit more attention to us. And it always really helps. We're going to go into a break. We really appreciate you guys. And stick around. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Listen to the song or go grab some water or something. We'll be back.
Yeah, thank you, y'all.
Yeah. Yo. We're back.
Steadyfast makes me cry.
Michael's so cute, bro.
Come back to when, baby.
I don't know.
We're like Daft Punk.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 7 years, but then like, well, don't they do something like that? It was like 4 years and 7. We'll do it in 30 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Ian, show them your shirt. I don't know if.
Oh hell yeah.
The viewers got a full view of your shirt.
So we got this brand new banger right here, Operation Iraqi Freedom. For our brave men and women going in and destabilizing the Middle East. For that damn oil money. You feel me?
If people haven't noticed, our humor is, as far as political humor, is extremely
satirical.
Ironic, of course. Yeah.
Obviously I don't support the war in Iraq. But I bought this shirt. Well, actually, no. I'm an oil.
I have an old tweet.
Obviously a lot of like with Jacan's Joe Biden shirt. Obviously a lot of the jokes we make.
That one I'm serious though.
A lot of the jokes we make here are very ironic, and we do it because of how shit the U.S. is, and we want to fix it. Obviously, the war in Iraq was disgusting, and the effects of it now. It is. It's almost as old as me. The effects of the Iraq War will probably never go away, if we're being honest, or not for a long time. The people of Iraq are definitely going to feel that, and in the surrounding regions.
If we consider it like the death knell of U.S. imperialism, like really the first engagement where it's like we just straight up did a fool's errand and fucked ourselves.
Yeah, and
like of course, I think it will, of course, reverberate through time,
and as well as indirect, a war going on with Iran, like through the funding of Israel.
Yeah.
Which is something we just talked about now.
Yeah, assassinations of
nationalist Bart Simpson vibes. I just might be.
Who said national?
We referenced the Simpsons last episode too.
Eat my shorts.
God, I think didn't we talk about the Marge Simpson one where she came out? She's like Kamala Harris. God. Yeah. Just drive anything into the dirt.
Pick up your guitar, Leo. Play while you watch, man.
All right, let's kick off the show.
Yeah, let's get back into it.
To kind of, if you're just joining us or you were just here before, we were talking about Honduras and the hurricanes that have ripped through their country, and how Biden, in his past administration working with Obama, helped sow the seeds for that. But here we have Biden's, this is from Food and Water Watch. It says, Biden's appointment of John Kerry as climate czar is alarming red flag. Washington, D.C. News reports indicate that President-elect Joe Biden will appoint former Senator and Secretary of State John Kerry to be his special presidential envoy for climate, or climate czar. In response, Food and Water Action Executive Director Winona Howders issued the following statement. She says, quote, having held cautious optimism that President-elect Joe Biden could be persuaded to take a bold, determined approach to taking the climate crisis from day one, tackling the climate crisis from day one. We are suddenly alarmed by his choice of John Kerry for climate czar. I think we here at the show are not suddenly alarmed, but Kerry has been a longtime apologist for fossil fuel fracking and a reliable promoter of false climate solutions like market-based carbon trading schemes. Kerry's proposals are tired ideas from years past that will do little or nothing to address our climate crisis and will actually continue to place a disproportionate, unjust burden on vulnerable communities that have borne the brunt of fossil fuel pollution and climate impacts for decades now. And yeah, of course, I mean, we're pretty young, but for anyone that remembers, John Kerry ran against George Bush and got his ass handed to him. It just proves how much of a fucking piece of garbage John Kerry is. And
Hillary Clinton status, for those who we need to put it in perspective. Like, not on the same level, but he was like not a very politician.
They're both they both serve the fossil fuel and fracking industries.
Yep.
You know, Hillary was dubbed the fracking queen, and John Kerry. Point is now he's going to be the climate like liaison, basically the guy that's going to go to these accords and stuff and help make these decisions. And it's just fucking, it's the same bullshit.
Mm-hmm. It's we're pretty much just like environmentally speaking, it's gonna be the same thing under that's pretty much under Trump. It's gonna be mirrored almost, because who's the fucking dumbass that is the head of the EPA right now? What's his name?
I don't know who it is now, but
under the Trump administration.
At one point, well, no, Rick Perry was energy. Yeah, I don't know who
it was. Scott Pruitt, but I'm pretty sure he's gone.
Yeah, I think they did get.
Yeah, he was the coal exec guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, yeah, just any position, you just look at whoever's diametrically opposed to the things that position should do.
Mm.
That's who it's gonna be.
Oh, it's Andrew Wheeler now.
Yeah, some other goon.
Yeah. I think maybe I figured it out. I know why Trump is always constantly firing people from his cabinet, so that way he can go out and say that he's draining the swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, and part of that too is always just winding out people, so you never get time to really research the person. By the time you find out all the bad shit they're doing, they just swap out a new guy.
Yeah. And
plus, that's part of like making those different positions ineffective too. Just constantly switching who the head is.
Mm.
Like if they do that, yeah, they're never gonna get anything done.
And continue
to Ian's point, though.
Track they've been doing.
Yeah, to Ian's point, it's like, yeah, it's the same thing under Trump and the same thing under every president we've had for the last fucking 80 plus years. Like, yeah, fuck John Kerry. This is ridiculous.
Just whatever the job description is, whoever is the least qualified gets the job.
Trump is just like, wait, I thought I just got hired for another season of my show. I thought that's all this was.
Yeah. And in case we had any illusion that, in general, big business wasn't going to run Biden's presidency, of course, this is evidence, but can we bring up the Jacobin article? This is from Jacobin here. This is David Sirota. He, speechwriter for Bernie. Great. Check out his stuff. Potential Biden officials firm is promising big profits off administration access. Former government officials, we've covered all these people and talked about them in the past couple episodes if you want to check that out. Tony Blinken, Michelle Flournoy, and Lloyd Austin may run Biden's national security agencies. Their firm is telling investors it expects to profit off ties to those officials. Two former government officials, who may now run President-elect Joe Biden's national security team, have been partners at a private equity firm, now promising investors big profits off government business because of its ties to those officials, according to government documents reviewed by the Daily Poster. The Daily Poster is Sirota's publication. Pine Island Capital Partners, which is really close to Penn Island. It's too close to Penis Land. It lists former Undersecretary of Defense Michelle Flournoy and retired General Lloyd Austin as a partner in the firm, and lists former Deputy Secretary of State Antony Blinken as a partner on a leave of absence. Flournoy and Austin are reportedly among the leading candidates being considered for Secretary of Defense, and Blinken is Biden's designated nominee for Secretary of State. Pine Island's chairman is John Thain, the former top executive at Merrill Lynch, when the company paid out huge executive bonuses as it began to collapse during the financial crisis. And yeah, by doing that, evicted tens of thousands of, millions of people actually from their fucking homes. Flournoy and Blinken's ties to Pine Island were first reported by the New York Times. In Securities and Exchange Commission filings, Pine Island describes one of its investment vehicles as a, quote, a newly organized blank check company incorporated in Delaware, Joe Biden's home state, unquote, that will use its connections to top officials to take advantage of rising government expenditures on the national security agencies that Flournoy and Blinken could oversee. Pine Island's first filings about the investment vehicle were made in September. The same month, Biden suggested that he will not push for significant reductions in Pentagon expenditures, which have reached record levels. So yeah, well, I'll continue on. But what do you guys think of this? I mean,
I guess not surprising.
Yeah, of course not surprising, but it's like, I mean, right there, it's like they're literally just doing the bidding of what the investors. They're like, hey, we want to get some of these contracts, some, investments in some vehicles with some government contractors, some military contractors, some national security agencies, and then by extension, the people that they employ into Biden's cabinet go, hey, we're going to push Biden to not. Although I don't think it takes much pushing for Biden, but they're going to take the position, hey, we're not going to do X, Pentagon expenditures, or if it's, some other coal lobbyists, we're not going to cut coal or fracking.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess at a point, I want to say like black pill, but it's like a numbness. Like I'm used to this kind of fucking same old bullshit.
Right. And it's just totally clowny, right?
Yeah.
Like, Blinken's on a leave of absence to this partner in a firm, and I'm sure he makes big bank from it.
Oh yeah.
Top executive is Merrill, ex Merrill Lynch executive.
Yeah, like the revolving door is just so like brazen and in your face. It's like kind of just.
It's more than laughable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's continue on here. We can skip down to where it says the company. It's the second to last paragraph before the next bold. The company says Thane and CEO Philip Cooper, John A. Thane, and Philip A. Cooper founded the firm, quote, on the idea that a talented group of accomplished, highly respected, commercially savvy, and long-tenured former government and military officials, when fully aligned and engaged, could enable a first-class investment team with better access, better information, better expertise, and better management skills than those typically found in private equity firms.
Private equity firms? They said it, the evil word.
Mm-hmm.
The evil word.
Quote, this is so explicit that it's astonishing Pine Island even put it on paper, unquote, said David Siegel of Demand Progress, a grassroots group pressing Biden to reject cabinet appointments tied to corporations. He says, quote, this is not an example of people who happen to work at a big company. These are partners at a firm whose stated business model is to profit from the revolving door and connections gained from time in government. So yeah, none of the people that are, moving into Biden's administration aren't
the
small
big boys
people.
club.
No, yeah,
it's a big boys club. Yeah.
Say their express purpose is to maximize the amount of money in their pockets.
Yeah.
I say, well, this will probably be pretty successful as long as they don't let James or Hunter anywhere near this.
Yeah. They'll pay Hunter to go sit somewhere in a corner.
Yeah,
$200,000 a year to sit in a corner.
Fuck prostitutes and smoke crack.
But yeah.
Although if there's a lot of money to be made, who knows? Maybe we'll be seeing their name in the news soon again.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I thought those two stories tied together well. Just we always kind of have a segment here where we're kind of keeping up with who Biden's filling up his administration with.
Yeah, and
it's been nothing but bad looks rather.
And then as a little, I guess, spoiler for Wednesday, I'm going to be going into more picks for his economic team.
Oh, great.
Because he just released a new set.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I heard he also, we don't have to cover it, but Neera Tanden's going to have some kind of role in his administration. Neera Tanden, who, as we know, viciously smeared Bernie Sanders supporters. Yeah, and Bernie Sanders himself.
Yeah, one of the liberal elites who have look at where all those people who smeared Bernie are now. They're all moving up the ladder. What a coincidence!
Exactly.
They
did their job, and the DNC the powerhouse that is the DNC is rewarding them.
Yeah, and the amount of people who have done that is insane.
What I noticed this isn't very. I'd say it doesn't affect that many people, but the one woman who I remember was criticizing people back in 2016 for not voting for Hillary, who she had a tape that came out and she admitted that she didn't actually vote for Hillary Clinton, even though she was shaming people who didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. And she argued that, I can vote for whoever I want to. So she's definitely... Or she just got a spot on The View.
Oh, so, great.
It's just...
Jeez.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're just further... Not that we expect anything different, but, like, media publications like The View are just, further insulating themselves with the worst people.
It's all the big corporate shows.
Yeah.
We know who they want, and it shows.
They'll take anybody, dude.
No, not just anyone. That's the point. You got to be special. You got to be a special kind of shill.
Right. You got to be the top of your class.
You got to shill for shillery.
Well, as we know,
then all your dreams can come true.
You got to yes man so hard that you'll ruin your career.
Same with Biden.
Like Hillary Clinton levels.
Anyway, don't want to go off on that too much.
But... Yeah, one publication that traditionally has stayed strong on the right is Fox News, and we were once again kind of young, but Fox News super tormented the early 2000s, and of course has done many disgusting things since then. But we have an interesting poll here. This is from the Morning Consult. It says Fox News popularity slips among Republicans in wake of election. The network's average favorability rating among Republicans dropped from 67% to 54%. Fox News favorability has tumbled among Republicans since Election Day, as the cable news network has faced a steady drumbeat of criticism from President Donald Trump. You see from the graph here, it says Fox News favorability among Republicans drops post-election. Respondents were asked whether they had a favorable or unfavorable view of Fox News. Respondents who said they had never heard of or had no opinion of the network are not displayed. And yeah, that's just it. And we can talk, the meta-analysis of this. 67 to 54% is a huge drop for Fox News, man. Like,
yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Fox News's viewers are very, very independent thinkers.
Yeah, right.
If you disagree with what they think, then they have no problem hating you.
Right. It really sucks that it wasn't anything actually good that, something where they actually had independent thinking that caused people to no longer watch Fox News. It's just this divide within the Republican Party now, people that do watch Fox News. That, now you have the Trump people that are, for some reason, still thinking that he won.
And then Fox News is just trying to calm everyone down. Like, wait, no, Bernie didn't win. We won. The establishment won, guys. It's
exactly. Okay. Yeah, because most, I believe,
the stock market's going up. Stock market's the highest it's ever been.
I think Tucker and a couple other Fox and Friends, a couple of the main hosts have now conceded the election to Joe Biden. And so that split, it's going to be interesting to see, because
I think
in one way it's good to see the Republicans just fucking kneecapping themselves and infighting. But what is it going to create in the coming years?
I think it's a very scary thing, because tuning, in small numbers, but you can already see people are leaving Fox News, but they're going to farther right news outlets such as One America News Network, OANN, which is a way farther right than Trump or than Fox News. They are way more open in their fascism, and it's very, very scary. So
maybe we'll have to do some stuff on them later at some point.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think we should, because they're an up and coming network, and with these graphs here, we could very well see a rise in their viewership, and than a rise in far right ideas.
And even the other sect too, the sect of like Fox News Republicans that are saying, okay, Biden's won. They're scary too, because now they're gonna team up with people like Joe Biden and claim to, cross the aisle together. When, as we've covered, we know the reality of that is they're gonna cross the aisle to step on all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, this division, if anything, might create, it was one head and now it's a two-headed monster. That's even worse.
Yeah.
What was the parent company of Fox News? What was it called? Was it called News Corp? I think is the name.
Let's see. Breaking news.
So Fox News should be number one in news. They're if they're literally backed by News Corp.
Yeah, News Corp. Yeah. It's rip. Rest in peace to the boy Sheldon Adelson. Just kidding. Hope he burns in hell.
When they're competing against Turner and Microsoft.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what. Yeah, we should keep up, like, with this divide that's happening, both on what new media arises from this and what the reactionary right is watching, but also like what groups form from this too. Yeah.
Well, like Carl's brought up, I think it would be a good idea to do some stuff about OAN.
Yeah.
And how disgusting they are.
Do you guys want to hit our last break so we can jam out these last couple?
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and get into our last break, everybody. We'll be back after a quick song. Go get your water, go stretch it out, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone that's staying with us.
Yeah. We'll be right back. Any questions or concerns, ask in the chat, or comments, I mean.
Space, the final frontier. These have been the voyages of the Space Shuttle Discovery. Her 30-year mission, to seek out new science, to build new outposts, to bring nations together on the final frontier, to boldly go and do what no spacecraft has done before.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
What's good, y'all?
We're back from our last break. Maki, you want to look at the Discord chat real quick? You're also still muted, by the way.
Why do I always fucking forget that? So upsetting. Yeah, hang on.
All right. So for those, if you're just joining us, welcome. We chilling.
Also, update on SoundCloud. We are now on SoundCloud. All the episodes will be coming in slowly. Yeah, and we'll have everything on Spotify or on SoundCloud if you only want to listen to audio. Also,
I think we get reposts too.
yeah, we can repost, I think, and then if you guys keep, if you guys really run up those SoundCloud numbers, that will help us get on Spotify faster. Which will hopefully make it even easier for you guys to listen. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on trying to get all the.
Yeah, we need to get everything edited
SoundCloud
down.
Things working out, and then once they're edited and everything, we're gonna try and get them on Spotify.
Yes. So keep updated on our Twitter. I'll go ahead and plug our Twitter and share really quick. Go keep up with our Twitter. We'll be sure to tweet out when new episodes are up on the SoundCloud.
We gotta go round up all those episodes.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, we gotta get up. We gotta get everything.
Which we're almost on 20 now, boys.
Yeah, I know. We are on number 17.
There's a lot of content.
Maybe we'll do a little special thing for the 20th one.
Yeah.
You guys want to get into the next article?
Yeah, you wanna kick it off?
Kick it off.
Yep. Can you just open up the Independent article? So this is titled France, UN to host new Lebanon aid conference amid deadlock. If we scroll down to the first paragraph, France and the UN will host a new conference next week about aid to Beirut after its devastating port explosion in August. Oh, so we also covered this when it happened. What was our second show?
Yeah, it's crazy to think about how long,
It's about when we started.
Yeah. We covered that. Yeah, that's kind of a trip how long it's been.
Mm-hmm. So amid political deadlock and the worsening economic crisis in Lebanon, and the French presidency said Friday, thousands of Lebanese are struggling to repair homes damaged in the blast, and there is no government initiative to rebuild and what has been destroyed. French President Emmanuel Macron and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres will co-preside over the video conference December 2nd, which will also include Lebanese non-governmental groups and other organizations seeking to help, according to Macron's office. So they seem to be working together. What they want to plan to do is provide aid to what has happened in the blast in Beirut. And like Eian says, it's pretty crazy how long it's been, and there's still actually, I mean, it's not surprising, like the blast was devastating, but it's just kind of crazy how things have not really settled down there, like whatsoever. Things are still getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
And
that aid's been held up, really.
Right.
They'll get into.
Mm-hmm. Nearly 4 months after the explosion forced the Lebanese government's resignation, leaders are still struggling to form a new government amid ongoing political disagreements. The Lebanese army has also offered small assistance for rebuilding Beirut, but the country's severe economic crisis has further deteriorated. Macron visited Beirut twice in the aftermath of the blast and promised to help the former French protectorate rebuild. I can't read, dude. And roadmap for the new government, and would enact urgent reforms has gone nowhere amid Lebanon's political paralysis, and billions of dollars in international aid remain blocked. So just like Jacan said, that their funding has been delayed for a while now, and that's just what we just read here. The massive blast killed nearly 200 people and injured more than 6,000 when 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate detonated at Beirut's port, which we covered. It also devastated several neighborhoods, shattering thousands of residential, historic, and other buildings. It is considered to be one of the largest non-nuclear explosions ever recorded. The cause of the explosion is still unknown, or is still... Sorry, the cause of the explosion still is not known, but it is widely seen as a culmination of decades of corruption and mismanagement of Lebanon's ruling class. So a lot to take in there.
So a
Yeah.
lot of
Any
what
thoughts on
led to
that?
the accident happening is what's continuing to
Yes.
Yeah.
hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the key, I think. It's just same old. What caused that disaster to happen is just continuing. And
Mhm.
like you guys were saying, it's been so long since we first started this show, which is when this disaster happened, and still all this aid, etc., doing anything has been held up. And of course, we can speculate this is both on purpose by the French government to pressure Beirut.
Yeah, and I want to say this was about a month and a half ago this happened. I want to some roughly, right? Or am I wrong?
What?
The thing going off?
The Beirut explosion.
That was in
No, it was
August.
in August. It was
Oh wow, so it's even longer.
yeah. So
That's
think how long it's been, and there's
Yeah.
still people with houses there that haven't been repaired, and there's people homeless still there.
And
Mhm.
also to take into account how deep we are in the pandemic now and what's been going on with that in Beirut,
Yeah.
Right.
especially near the epicenter of the explosion.
They should have gotten
Right.
aid a long time ago, which is ridiculous that they would even hold it for this long. So
Right. And if
yeah, it's just stupid.
what we know too is like a lot of the austerity and sanctions on Lebanon is claimed against groups like Hezbollah, but this is the reality of what happens when a disaster that the already neoliberal conditions created. It continues on after, and there's even more immiseration and stuff because we're just sanctioning the shit out of them.
Mhm.
Yep.
Or what was that building in France that got burned? Is that the Notre Dame?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, there was.
And
Yeah,
it
the one that
they
they
raised
don't-
like $1
yeah.
billion in a day to rebuild
Right.
it.
Bunch of money. Yeah, rebuilt it. Bunch of billionaires donated. The thing is, there was a bunch of aid sent in this direction too, but like I was saying, in the way we could speculate, like, yeah, that's all a smokescreen, of course, for what they're really doing,
Yeah.
which is just hollowing out these countries. Yeah, thanks, Michael. I thought that was a good article.
Yeah, and before we continue, with a quick note, it's one of the big problems with social democracies is they still their whole thing is still exploiting the third world. Not even to say Lebanon is third world, but the continued exploitation of underdeveloped countries.
Right. But speaking of France specifically,
Exactly.
yeah, like
French
France, as we know, has a more vibrant democracy than we have, for sure.
Yeah. They're much more of a social democracy, but yeah, they have huge colonial ties, especially in like places like Africa, as well as the Portuguese and the
Haiti.
and the British, and the British as well. Yeah,
Yes.
the roots are deep.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to move into our
Yeah,
last piece?
let's move into our last piece here. We're just gonna have some pictures up on the screen while I read from this article. It is from Bloomberg here. Millions of Americans, as the salary is expected to lose their homes as COVID rages. Really quickly describing what's on screen here for those who are going to be watching from the audio only. We have a picture up here. It's titled, or like the caption is "Dark Winter." Percentage of adults living in households not current or on rent or mortgage, where eviction or foreclosure in the next 2 months is either very likely or somewhat likely. And it moves on a color scale. One color is lower, the other color is higher, and you see the very East Coast, like Maine and New York, and even a little bit of the South, Alabama, not very likely to be losing, or I guess that's technically like the somewhat likely section to not be losing their homes or not being evicted, etc. And then almost the entire map is red. Some places dark red, including like California,
Entire West Coast, entire
Exactly.
South Coast, almost.
the Rust Belt.
Rust Belt, Sun,
Yeah,
most of the Sun Belt.
So the Sun Belt is very likely to face eviction and lose their homes or lose their apartments because of COVID, and that's obviously very directly brought about by Donald Trump. And I'm going to be reading a little bit from the article here. About 5.8 million adults say they are somewhat likely to face eviction or foreclosure in the next 2 months, according to a survey completed November 9th by the U.S. Census Bureau. This accounts for a third of the 17.8 million adults in households that are behind on their rent or mortgage payments. The CARES Act signed into law last March, which is only a couple months away, which is insane to think about how we're coming up on a year of this pandemic, and it's still comstering us here in the U.S.
Yep.
So yeah, signed into law last March allows homeowners to pause mortgage payments for up to a year if they experience hardship as a result of this pandemic. Borrowers who signed up at the start of the program could face foreclosure by March. So yeah, this pause on this pause on mortgage payments is already coming to an end so quickly, as many of us are already, we're about to hit December and we're talking about things that's going to happen in March. Like, it's so close to us, and yeah, it's crazy to think about. And we've still had little to no aid. Continuing on, the CDC and prevention's the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's nationwide temporary suspension on evictions aimed at stemming the spread of coronavirus is slated to end December 31st. The timing is far from ideal, given millions of people are set to lose their unemployment benefits at year end without an extension from Congress, because our elected officials don't give a fuck about us, and all they care about is the interests of big corporations. And if they can't get a good enough bailout for them, well, why give us anything? Roughly half of households not current on their rent or mortgage payment, or nearly half of all households are not current on their rent or mortgage payments in Arkansas, Florida, and Nevada. And they think there's a strong chance for eviction by early January. This equates to more than 750,000 homes where eviction is the biggest worry, according to a survey. And then next on the screen, can you put up the next picture here?
This one's frightening.
Yeah, it's titled "Housing Dilemma," and in two metro areas, the low foreclosure / eviction estimate exceeds 100K. So the blue dot here is the low estimate, and the high dot is the bigger estimate or whatever. And yeah, just looking at what's on screen now, the numbers are just, like Jacan said, like frightening. And you can see New York, the same New York where Cuomo is writing a book called How We Beat COVID or whatever. You have
their low estimate.
Their low estimate.
200,000 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Are going to be homeless in the coming months.
Mm-hmm.
The low estimate.
And you have Houston, which is like 50K, Los Angeles 50K, Atlanta 100K, Phoenix 50K, Miami about 25K, and it goes on and on, man. So many people are going to be losing their homes because of this pandemic, and we've seen.
Yeah, that's what makes it even more insane that Cuomo's doing like victory laps right now.
Yeah. Right, or that anyone is.
Yeah, and this is at the same time when we've seen little to no material support from our government. The only thing we can say is we got a $1,200 check, and
many months ago.
Yeah, one-time payment, and those who are on unemployment, they were getting $600 in California now. Yeah, it's cut. They're getting I believe $300, and that money's coming from FEMA. So, we're weakening one part of our country to give band-aids to certain Americans who can qualify. And then, like, this obviously doesn't include like undocumented citizens.
Right.
And just the last little part from this article. Coronavirus, which has killed more than 256,000 Americans so far, and is on track to claim another 30,000 by mid-December, according to forecasts from the CDC. The model shows weekly cases and deaths both rising every week for the next month, the maximum range of the agency's projection. So yeah, it's a very scary time with the pandemic for everybody watching. This shit's very real. Make sure you have your mask, social distance when you can, and really be careful for your loved ones. And even if you're like a libertarian in this chat for fucking some reason, just because the mask won't directly like help you doesn't mean it won't help somebody else. Like the point of the mask is to stop you from spreading it, not from you from catching it.
That's the
Yeah.
dumb part.
I mean, we use these graphs to illustrate, the numbers, of course, but I think, and the reason we always order before the show, like how we want to do the articles, and like the reason I kind of wanted this last is like maybe as a practice we should just kind of take it in for a minute, because I mean, we know the coming months, I mean, the last 5 years have been some of the coldest winters on record, and some of these places like Buffalo, New York, etc.
Yeah, New York, how bad it's been. Like, actually, like, causing damage.
Yeah, seriously. It's been so cold and so much snow that it's like they're natural disasters.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people
Displaced.
living on the streets during that. And it's like, if you think, we're waiting for the degradation to finally come, the one thing that's, I mean, it's already been happening, but man, this is as bad as it gets. Like, millions of people are going to be on the streets in the coming months, quite possibly. And it's going to be cold. And they're going to be fucking children on the streets. Like, yeah.
And so, Donald Trump is and never will be the American people's president, man. He caused this, and he's gonna have more blood on his hands. And sadly, with America's history with pieces of shit, give it a couple years and he'll be fully accepted back into the Hollywood scene, and we'll forget all about all the atrocities he did, and he will be, back on the big.
Yeah,
stage.
exactly. Because it's not just Trump.
President.
Look at George Bush, man.
Well, look at the people that helped cause this. Like, what was it? 70% of food stamp recipients were fucking children before Bill Clinton started doing cuts.
Yep.
And that was who was one of the key guys that worked with Bill Clinton on that? Fucking Joe Biden.
Yep.
Like, the people that are going to be on the streets here that have no place to live and they need food stamps to eat and shit, which are kids, they're taking that shit away. That's the Democrat. That's your fucking liberals. Like, those are the people that are supposed to protect us.
And look how accepted these people are in our fucking society. Look at Joe. Look how beloved Joe Biden is by liberals. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have real candidates come along who want to, fix the problems that neoliberalism has brought about, like Bernie Sanders, and they're absolutely destroyed by the fucking machine that is.
Yep.
That is the media, that is politics, like our government,
these people just totally totally throw out the ideology of deficit spending to help people.
Right.
Because they come in and say, oh no, we need to balance the budget, and we can do that. And they'll cut it in some ways, but the biggest cuts are from the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Instead of deficit spending to help us, they deficit spend to for this military we have that goes around destroying other countries,
right?
For the sake of natural resources. They'll do anything they can to destroy. But when it comes to helping their people and rebuilding, it's we don't have the money for that.
That's you gotta cut Social Security.
Yeah, that's expensive. If you want this, you have to cut this. Oh, you want that? Oh, no, sorry, but here, sign on to this military budget, yeah? We need this.
Yeah, and just, it's so gross. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Jamal Bowman, who just recently got elected in New York, they had him on CNN, and they're trying to fucking rehab Rahm Emanuel, ex-mayor of Chicago, mega piece of shit, Democratic insider, guys that did the neoliberalist policies that did shit like this, the housing dilemma that we're gonna have. And they're trying to rehab him, and Jamal Bowman's, saying on CNN, on air, I think it was CNN, on air, Rahm Emanuel's scum, basically, and he covered up the murder of, I think it was Laquan McDonald, the kid that was killed in Chicago by the police. And they cut his mic. They cut his mic and his camera mid-sentence on air.
Of course, man, because
that's the media class that's supposed to fucking protect us right now.
Was that, wait, is that the...
Put truth to power.
Is that CNN? This is an Apple? Facts first? Not them. Anyone but them. You must be
democracy dies in darkness. All their slogans are the same, and they all fucking mean nothing.
We are shrouded in darkness. What?
That's what Washington Post should be. Anyone else have any final thoughts? I think I said my piece.
Yeah, I think if nobody else has anything to say, I think we can do our little outro here. No? All right.
Yeah,
so special thanks to Jose for being our very first subscriber. Super awesome. If you don't have an account, please create an account and follow us. It really helps. Also, if you have an Amazon Prime, you get one free Prime subscription a month that costs you no money, and it helps us. All you have to do is link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account, and you can do that. And if you're one of the first 10, you get a cool little founder badge next to your name when you type in chat. Secondly, special and huge thank you to everybody who helped us get to affiliate status. Super awesome. And thank you to the 10 people who are fucking with us right now. It is super awesome to see. It's literally about to be midnight, and there's 10 people here listening to what we have to say about what's going on in the world. Also, another update. We're gonna be on SoundCloud. We have to edit all the old footage, edit this footage, get it up on SoundCloud in order. But yeah, that's coming. We're gonna tweet about it. Make sure you keep up with our Twitter and our Instagram at Spoop Podcast. Yeah. Thank you guys again so much. I say this every episode, and I always talk about how I say it every episode, but be the change in your locality. Do what you can to, do what you really believe in. And if you want to see change, start, organizing, be the change. And yeah, it's doable, man. One day at a time, we got to take this. And yeah, we got to do what we can to fix this country, man. Workers of the world unite. I always say that as well, and I mean it. Thank you guys again for watching. We'll be back Wednesday at 10:30 same time, and after that Sunday. Every Wednesday and Sunday we're here 10:30. If you like what you saw, drop a follow. If nobody else has anything to say, I think we should get out of here.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah, alrighty. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good night.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yep.